Assalamu alaikum. Hello, guys. Welcome to my podcast of Inspiring Souls. This is Mevishir, your coach, guys. I have had a lot of issues with setting my stand, so I really hope it doesn't fall on me. Guys, today I have a very special guest coming in. Her name is Courtney. She has an amazing story to come in and share with us. I am really looking forward to this podcast. This is actually going to be my first podcast after my COVID recovery. I've tried multiple times, but my health was not allowing me to go live. But today, finally, it is happening, guys. Today, our topic is mental health, and Courtney is such an amazing person, such an inspiration, and I am super excited to have her on my show. Without any further delay, let me bring her on my channel and let's start our conversation today. Okay, okay, there we go. We're going. Hello there.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I am fine. Thank you for asking. So, Courtney, if my camera just falls, don't be scared, okay? I don't know. Today, my camera stand is not working with me. It keeps on falling. So, I don't want you to worry that where did she just go, okay?
Okay.
I'm hoping that it doesn't fall, but let's hope so. So, before we dive into our conversation, Courtney, just a little brief introduction about yourself, please, for the audience.
Yeah, so I'm Courtney and I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me. I am a mental health advocate that is trying to help others with their mental health and mindset. And I've created a mental health journal called The Bright Mentality. And this journal teaches discipline and self-care and really mindset techniques that can help people with mental health struggles, specifically CBT therapy, so cognitive behavioral therapy, and
Okay.
really helps people to have a consistent routine and keeps you accountable throughout your day. So it's a 90-day journal. So yeah, I started the Bright Mentality this year, and this is just kind of the beginning of what I feel I'm called to do. So I personally struggled with my mental health. I've been recovered for about 4 years now, and
Okay.
it's my turn to give back and really help others now that I'm in a place to do so.
All right. You know what? I was like, this is falling a lot. I'm just going to change and maybe just sit down and do it rather than it keep on falling on my face and distracting everybody from the conversation. There we go. All right. So, Courtney, so your journal was inspired by your own struggles as far as your mental health is concerned.
Yes.
So talk about that. Let's share that with the audience. What were you going through that led you eventually to write this book, this journal, actually?
Yeah, so about 7 years ago, I went through my first mental health break. My family and I had never experienced any type of mental health issues in our families, so we didn't know when this happened to me what to expect, how to
Okay.
handle it.
Wow.
I
Okay.
Yeah, I was going through this dark phase, and I uh, didn't sleep for about 2 weeks. And
Oh, wow.
yeah, a
And
little
when you
bit.
say you didn't sleep, was sorry, I'm cutting you, but uh, when you say that you couldn't sleep, was it that you were feeling anxious, or was this some kind of emotions that you were unable to deal with that was keeping you from sleeping?
That's a good question. I actually did not fully comprehend what was happening to my mind. Um,
Mm,
I later found out what it was, it being a manic episode.
okay.
And so it took over my mind, whatever was going on. And
Mm,
for me, it was a spiritual experience that I was battling. And, I believe that I was taken down the darkness to see the light. And I'm thankful that I went through what I went through, because everything that has happened with those episodes has led me to where I am now, and in the spot to help others. So
Right, right. So 7 years ago it started, and please correct me if I say it wrong. You went through something, and nobody in your family was aware of it because nobody had gone through it, and that is when you realized, or your family and you together realized that something was wrong. What happened next?
So I had a roommate at the time she's my best friend, and she noticed that something was off. The way I was talking, the things I was thinking. So she called my father, and my dad, said, let's take her to get help. My dad lives far away, so he couldn't be there. And so when I told her that I wanted to go to my grandparents. So we went to my grandparents, and my friend had everything set up. Like my mom was there, my brother was there, and I started sharing with them what I was experiencing, the thoughts I was thinking. And their next step was to take me to the hospital. And at the hospital, I ran into a doctor that said that I needed to see a psychiatrist and be put on medication.
Okay.
And that it was definitely tough to hear at the time, because I had never taken any medication before in my life. Had never experienced anxiety, never experienced depression. And so when the doctor said that, we got in the next day to see someone, and they immediately put me on something. It took about 3 years for them to find the right medication for me. So I battled some serious depression after that episode. And just really, it was a back and forth battle, to where for 4 years now, I've been on one medication that has just completely changed my life. And I'm back to who I was before I was going through mental illness. Yeah.
Okay, Courtney, for the viewers, if I'm, please stop me at any point if you think that I'm asking any uncomfortable question and you don't want to answer. So just feel free to stop me, please, because I will definitely respect what you want to share and what you're not comfortable with sharing. So when you said you had those episodes, could you explain for the audience? Somebody is going through something similar and trying to figure out what's going on. So could you explain what those episodes were, what you were feeling in those moments?
Yeah, so for me, mine was very spiritual. So it was spiritual mania that I was going through.
Okay.
The first episode that I had, I was seeing a lot of dark things, a lot of, to me, demonic things that were scary to me. And I knew something was not right. And like, I had grown up going to church, and but I didn't fully understand my faith at the time. And I knew in that moment, that first episode, that I could feel, and like the signs I was seeing, like he was battling for me. He was battling and pulling me. And it was a spiritual but yet natural battle that I was facing. And so a lot of times people think with your faith, you can overcome mental health and mental illness. In reality, a lot of times it's a natural thing that we experience, psychological things that, faith plays a part, but there's also mental health too.
Mental health, yes. And you need proper medication, proper help for that.
Absolutely.
Along with your faith. Absolutely. Somebody's saying, if you could please clarify what you meant by spiritual mania.
Yeah, the spiritual mania was, so the mania is the manic episode I was facing, and my mind was completely racing. I was seeing things that weren't there, thinking things that weren't happening. And the spiritual side was, I was seeing the dark and the light. And so that, to me, it was spiritual for me, and has led me to the faith that I have today. So like I've told people that if I had to go through it again, to get me to the faith that I have today, then I would do it. And also I would do it all over again to help people and
Right.
just
Wow.
to make an impact on others and change people's lives for the better. So
Uh,
I hope that
just
answered your question.
yeah, guys, if you want to ask, you can just send in the question again if it's not clear. For my clarification, I think when you said the dark side and you saw these dark things, I think they're like this. You see the demons, or then you see the angels, the light. So you were seeing both of them, and it was more of the darkness that you wanted to overcome, right? Clear me if I'm getting it right.
That's correct.
Right. Okay. Wonderful. Uh, okay. So this is, you were having these, and then you went through 3 years of struggle because you couldn't find the right medication, right?
That is correct. I was on about 4 different medications in the next 3 years that we were trying out. And the reason why we kept trying different ones is I kept thinking that God had healed me from my mental illness. And so when I thought that, I started to kind of get off of it, which led me to
Mm-hmm.
another episode. But the next episodes that I had were uh, very light. They
Okay.
were, it wasn't scary like the first one. It was more of
Okay.
um, me going out and sharing my testimony and my, uh, trying to just share things with people, and my family knew, okay, there's something a little off. So
Uh, just I'm intrigued, and I wanted to ask you, when you said now that it happened, it wasn't that scary. Do you think that that was also because you'd experienced it before, and now you were more aware of what was coming?
yes, I think so. I also think I think what I did know what was coming. And the thing with manic episodes, with bipolar disorder, a
Mm,
lot of there's a problem with getting people to stay on their medication,
okay.
because the experience that you feel from the mania, um, people tend to gravitate towards that rather than being on medication, and you feel trapped.
Okay.
Um, and so I did know what was happening, but I didn't feel like it was bad at the time. When I was
Mm,
in those episodes, I never felt like it was wrong. I just felt
mm,
I am called to do what I'm doing, and I would preach the gospel, and
mm,
that I don't do that when I'm properly medicated. I share my faith with others, but I'm not,
mm.
you know, um, overly excited about sharing things. So
I got you. I got
yeah,
you.
yeah.
Okay. Uh, I think I'm, of course, I've not been through what you're saying, but I know we've all been through something like when you're living alone or when you move into a new place, right? And it's a new apartment, it's a new home, or you're alone and you moved in, you feel like there's somebody there. And I've been through that. I've moved into a new place, not familiar about it, and I would always feel like there's somebody behind me. When I turn, there's nobody there. Or if the door was open to my bedroom, I felt like there's somebody standing there, And I look and I'm too scared to go there. But I gather the guts and go in, but there's nobody actually there. And I know, being a Muslim, praying, and I'll be like, the minute I start praying, I'll feel somebody's around me. And the minute I would stop praying and get off, there was nobody there. So I also experienced those moments where I felt that there was somebody with me, where there was nobody. And I know that in the beginning it was scary, but like you said, and then I was like, whatever. My brain is playing tricks with me because there's nobody. It's happened so many times, and there's nobody there. So it's nobody there. Just my mind playing tricks. And over time, it just went away. I don't know what it was. Whether it was my brain playing tricks with me, whether it was just the subconscious. Mind, because I was scared of the new place, and you were like, oh, maybe there's somebody here, mind can play tricks. So coming back to you, Courtney. So the fourth year is the year you got the proper medication, and since then you've been a better person. Is that what you're saying? Or you've been more balanced, or the episodes are in more control?
Absolutely. So I definitely think balance is the right word. I my medication is actually a shot. So I take a shot once a month. I don't have to forget about my pills.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't have it leaves room for less error with having an episode, and so I take a shot once a month, and just in my arm, and it's been amazing. I have the drive I had before I went through my depression and anxiety and episodes, and I've done a lot since the 4 years that I've been on this shot. I went back to school, graduated at grad school, um, you know, just continued to work, and started
Be
this side
yourself.
business. Yeah, exactly. Just started this
Mm-hmm.
business, and um, yeah, so I'm just so thankful for the medication, because
Wow.
I it has changed my life. So
Right. So, Connie, I hear you said that twice. So, I want you to talk about that. You said that with the episodes, you also suffered from depression and anxiety, right?
yes.
So could you shed some light on that also?
Yeah, so my depression was very severe, and I had a lot of suicidal thinking, because I I never understood before when people said they were depressed. I had been sad before, and but I never understood what a depressive episode was. It was so hard to pull myself out from that. Like it was it was an experience that I don't wish on anyone. I don't want that for anyone. And I was ready to take a full bottle of pills, and
Mm.
I saw my grandmother's face, and I just put the pills down, uh, and I went, and I just I just continued to be sad, and it took me a while to get over that depression. But yeah, I mean, I that was really hard, and the
So what
anxiety
did
was.
you feel besides the suicidal thoughts that you had, uh, which seemed pretty intense alone? But what other feelings, what other emotions, sorry, were you feeling when you were having those depression attacks?
I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to see anyone. I didn't want to go anywhere or do anything. Uh, and that's one of the questions that my psychiatrist will ask. Are you seeing other people? Are you being active with others? And
Mm,
I used to answer every once in a while, but it's changed for me now. And
mm,
uh, every time I, go check in with her, it's, oh yeah, I'm going to the movies, or visiting friends, going to dinner with friends. So there's definitely been a change there. And one of the things in the journal that I have at the back is reminders for your therapist and notes for your psychiatrist. So if you're feeling certain things, whether it be not wanting to socialize with your friends or family, you can jot that down as a reminder to take. You can take the journal with you
okay.
and remind your doctor how you're feeling, and she can.
Feeling right.
Yeah.
Right, right. Because of course, if you see her weekly and you forgot about it, so it's written down in the journal, you have it right there in front of you.
Yep.
Excellent. That's a
Yep.
great idea. So I know that you said earlier that one of your friends, your roommates, noticed something off about you. Uh, any other friends or family members also, did they notice something, or was it just that one friend?
My dad noticed that I was talking different,
Okay.
and some of the things I was saying, I think he thought was a little off. But like I said, this came out of nowhere, and so no
Took it
one,
seriously or understood what was going on.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
about a 2 week process that I started to notice the change,
Okay.
and I just continued to I stayed awake, and I started thinking these weird thoughts about, you know, uh, just these dark thoughts. And um, that was a turning point for my roommate, because I said I thought I had to go away, and she took that as, I was going to end my life
Take
right then.
life, you're right.
Yeah. In actuality, I was thinking that I was just gonna go to space or something like that. It was
Right,
something
right,
out, like, not,
right. That did
yeah,
not make sense at that moment. What you right? Gotcha,
yeah,
gotcha.
yeah.
Courtney, first of all, it's your conversation is really intense, and I want to take a minute and really applaud you because uh, just listening to your story, uh, it shows me how courageous and brave you are, and we all need to applaud you because you went somewhere dark, but you had the courage to reach out, seek help, and accept that something was going on without shaming yourself. And a lot of people I know of uh, have shamed themselves or have been scared and to overcome their darkness. So for you doing that, first of all, uh, I applaud you. I send you love and lots of hugs. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I thank you for coming forward and sharing this story, because I know a lot of people are listening right now, and your story being heard and then being passed on gives so much of inspiration and hope to so many who might just be struggling and not knowing what to do or not knowing how to pull themselves out of the darkness. So thank you so much for coming on my platform and giving me this beautiful story of yours, which can help so many people right now.
Thank you. Thank you for those words. That means a lot. And that's, for the longest time, it was really hard for me to talk about this. It's not until really recently, since I've released the journal, that I've opened up about my story more. And the reason why I'm opening up about it is because I really want people to know that, they're not alone if they're going through a psychotic disorder, a psychotic episode, depression. You aren't alone. Like, here's someone here that has gone through it, and you can get through it. And that's my whole message is, you can live a full life despite your diagnosis. I say your diagnosis does not define you.
Define you,
Your
definitely.
future is bright, and you can get through hard things. And that's why I've started opening up about it, because if I kept my story quiet, I could lose that chance of helping someone or save a life. And
Absolutely.
I always said, when I was struggling for those 3 years, I kept telling my family over and over, I said, I just want to be able to help people. I want to be able to help people get through what I'm going through. And they always said, you have to help yourself first. You have to get
First,
better first till you can help other people. And so I didn't know it was going
absolutely.
to take, 7 years to get to where I am now, but I'm so thankful for those 7 years, because it's who I am. And
Right.
yep. So
Absolutely. And it's beautiful because I remember it's been more than a year, I don't know, I think year and a half, that when I started, I had a coach for my personal journey. She was coaching me, and the first lesson she taught me on that was that, Mavish, you can't pour from an empty cup. So you got to take care of yourself first to be able to serve or help others. So I think that is what we all need to do and work on. And the second thing was, if you had not chosen to share your story, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think when you came forward and shared your story, and every time you share your story, when you're helping others, you're also helping yourself. A part of you heals when you come forward, share your story, because it's self acceptance when you share. Whether it's with one person, whether it's with 10 people, you're coming forward, and like you said, you're not defining yourself because of this one condition, right? So that is self acceptance, and telling yourself that this is not who I am, this is not my identity, just a part of me which I accept gracefully.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Courtney, let's talk about your journal now. So what inspired you to come with this journal? What let's hear that story.
I I have journaled my entire life,
Okay.
and I've always had journals. They've helped me with motivation, and when I was really struggling, I would write down journal prompts that I thought could help me get through what I was going through.
Mm.
And I had used CBT therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy, with some therapists before. And so one day I just was thinking, I said, you know what, I want to help people. I want to, because this was 4 years after, I had been great, had not had an episode.
Okay.
And I sat down, and when I say it was like a download, it was literally like a download of like what should be in this journal.
Oh,
And
okay.
so I believe that God gave me this blueprint for how he wanted this journal set up. Um, and it was interesting because right when I had it all in a Google Doc, and right when I had it all written out, the name, The Bright Mentality, came to me. And I was like, okay, I like that a lot. And then I had a couple people say, like, it was confirmation. They were like, you have such a bright future. And I was like, okay, this is it. Like, this has got to be
The
the
name.
name of this journal.
Wow.
Um, and so that was just kind of the start of everything. And I have a good friend that's a mental health counselor and life coach, and she was able to help me kind of point me in the right direction for how to set up this journal. And she's been very impactful for the Bright Mentality, and she's really great. And so it was about a 5-month process to build it all, get it edited. I had an awesome book designer, and the printing of the journal took a while, but I just received all my journals 2 days ago. And
Oh,
yeah, so I have 550 here with me, and
wow.
I'm shipping out about 100 this weekend that I had sold on my Kickstarter and on the website.
Okay.
And so, yeah, 500 of the journals went to a foundation in Florida for
Okay.
a school in South Carolina. So that's exciting.
Wow.
And I can't wait to,
Wow, that's big.
yeah, I can't wait to
Oh,
hear how it helps students.
wow.
So,
That's
yep.
amazing. Congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
awesome.
Thank
So,
you.
so let's talk about the journal now. What is in the journal for people listening? If people are interested, I want you to show the journal also. I think you have it right there, and then just talk. Wow, guys, look at that.
It's 90 days, about
Okay, 90 days.
260 pages. So that's the spiral bound, and then here's the hardcover.
Okay, okay, wow. And
So
where is
there's
it
two.
available at? Amazon, I think.
It's going to be on Amazon in a couple weeks. I'm working on that
Okay,
right now.
okay,
For right now, it's just being sold on my website, so thebrightmentality.com,
okay,
and you can order on there.
okay.
So, but yeah, I'm excited to get it on Amazon. I think that'll be really neat.
Yeah,
It's a whole new process that I don't know anything about yet, but I've got a friend of mine that's going to help me to get it set up on there. So,
great, great. Guys, if you're wondering and if you're interested in the book, I will tag her once I post the podcast, and you can go directly on her page, and she's saying it's right now available on her website. Courtney, talk about the journal. What is in it? Who is it for? And how is it going to help people?
Absolutely. So it's 90 days, 14 prompts. Each day there's a spot for your medication. So your medication check, if you
Okay.
take it in the morning, noon, or evening, and then your mood check. So how you're feeling, and you describe how you're feeling. There's a feeling wheel at the beginning.
Okay.
So the different feelings, whether it be, peaceful, powerful, joyful, um, hopeful, creative. There's tons of different feeling words. So you pick your
Okay.
feeling word, describe how you're feeling. And for me, I start this in the morning. I think it's most beneficial to start it in the morning because the next part is gratitude. And gratitude is so important. It helps you
Yes.
elevate your mood and really get you in the right state of mind for being in the present and being thankful for all that you have.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so there's a spot for that. There's a motivational spot where you can put, like, what's your motivation for today? For a lot of people going through depression and anxiety, a lot of people's motivation is simply to get out of bed. And,
Yes.
and I've experienced that. It was hard for me sometimes. I didn't want to get up. I was like stuck, and I felt no drive. There's a spot for on the move. So your movement for the day, what your energy level is. Priority list, because to-do lists are so important. So your top 3 things that you're going to do for the day. There's nutrition, there's goals, inspiration, mindful moments. So whether it's like imagery or meditation or whatever, prayer, whatever type of mindful moment you are, that technique that you're going to use for the day. And then there's a spot for self-improvement, like that asks, what is one thing you're going to do tomorrow that's going to make you a healthier version of yourself than you were today? And then the last, which is so important for mental health, is a sleep schedule. So how many hours you got the night before, how many you plan to get tonight. And then, so yeah, this journal will take you from the moment you wake up to when you go to bed at night. It's beginning to the end. So I write in mine in the morning, and then at night before I go to bed, I fill in, what inspired me for today, the mindfulness technique. I use all that at the end, the self-improvement, something I'm going to do tomorrow that I didn't do today, and then my sleep schedule. So that is the 90-day part. And then every 30 days, there's a spot for your goals and dreams. I'm huge on goals and dreams and accomplishing those. And so I think it's really important for visualization to see what your goals are every single week, monthly, and then the 10 or the 5 top dreams that you will achieve in the year. So writing these over and over helps you to remember. And I go back and look at mine every single day, and I'm like, okay, am I on track to meet these? Am I going to be able to make these goals happen? And sometimes I'm not, but the journal really keeps me accountable and reminds me this is my focus. This is what I need to do. And so, yeah, this is, it's super powerful, and I'm just excited to get these in people's hands and to let them see how it works.
Everybody should have them. It's the combination of not just people who are struggling with a mental illness, but just generally, you've given me so many things that a lot of us could use, like gratitude, for instance. I know that because I practice that myself. The minute I wake up, and that's one thing I've done. Okay, today I'm busy. I'm still going to take 10 seconds. 10 seconds. Okay, I don't have 10 seconds, 5 seconds. What I'm going to do, I'm quickly going to ask myself in that moment, how am I feeling when I wake up? Like, how am I feeling? And if the feeling is something like I'm irritable, or I feel sad, or any negative emotion, I quickly replace it by, what am I grateful for? What is the one thing right now I can be grateful for? And I know because for me it sounded like really lame in the beginning. That I know all these things, but we all know them. But until and unless, like you said, we practice them, we say them out loud consciously to ourselves, we are not internalizing them. So whether it's, guys, 5 seconds, trust me, there are days I don't have time, I take 5 seconds. If I have time, 15 minutes of meditation, 20 minutes, whatever. It's just getting connected with your inner self to know what you're feeling. And sometimes you get up and you don't know why your mood is bad, or why you're irritable. You slept well and you're still irritable. And when you do these things, it just kind of connects you with who you are and why you're feeling something. Maybe something happened 3 4 days ago, and the trigger is coming on that day when you wake up feeling irritated. So I mean, this is amazing. I think everybody should get that book. Journaling, I love journaling, I talk about it all the time. Writing down, whether it's just even 3 lines a day, morning and evening, just kind of helps you to see who you are. It's like a mirror for yourself. So that is something really amazing. Courtney, when you said that in the book there was this thing where you could chart yourself for the medicine, right? You said it's like morning, evening, and night, right?
Yes.
I want to go back to where you said, for yourself, you don't take medication, you take the shot. I want you to share your experience with the medication and the shot for people. Uh, is it just for you that the shot is work, or do you think that shots are better? For me, I was just thinking that shots would be so easy because it's a one-time thing. And like you said, you don't forget about, oh, did I take my pill, or I didn't take my pill. Well, the book in itself is going to be helpful, but just a little, I want you to talk about that a little bit for the audience as well, since you've experienced it.
I think that like I said, it takes away the error of forgetting to take your medication, or for some people that just don't want to take it. They don't have that choice once it's in their body, right? So,
Right. Yeah,
yeah,
actually.
and I I think it could be with science. I think they could make that for a lot of different medications soon. And I think there's tons and tons of research going into mental health. So I'm a big advocate on it because it's like I said,
It's
it's
been a
changed my
game
life.
changer for you.
Oh, completely. Yeah, completely.
Yeah.
There's also a spot in the back for your prescriptions. So whether it be an
Okay.
antipsychotic or a mood stabilizer, anti-anxiety, and then I put a spot for injectables as well. So
Awesome.
there's your prescription page. When I was on my pills and I was trying to remember what I was taking, the dosage, there's a spot on here for that, the name of it, the dosage, and then your refill date. So you can remember when you need to get that refilled. Because for some people with mental health, they don't need medication, but a lot of people, or not a lot, but some people do. And so I think this is a good reminder for people that do need it. And yeah, so
It's a good
I
reminder
really,
for everybody. Trust me, Courtney.
yeah,
I take vitamins, and I just recovered from COVID. Remember we were talking about it, and uh, my after COVID, my brain, oh my God, I have so much of brain fog. Like, I literally forget, did I take my anti-allergy today? Did I take my vitamin today? So literally that book would come handy for me as well, because then you just put it next to your medication, and then you just put it in that you've taken it, because then you're not wondering if you've taken the medication or not, or you're not overdosing yourself. So I think it's just a really good and handy journal. Uh,
yeah. And
uh,
I love what you said. Oh, I'm sorry.
no, go ahead, go ahead. I
Oh,
was going to
I
jump to the
love what
next
you
question, so I want to say what you're going
I
to
love
say.
what
Yeah.
you said about how this is a journal for everyone, because I've had a lot of people purchase it that don't have any mental health problems or mental illness, that just believe in it because it's a mindset journal, and it
Yes.
can really, like you said, everyone can use these things every day. Obviously my target audience originally mental health patients, because I
Absolutely.
personally experienced that. But since I've been fine for 4 years and I've not experienced any episodes, anxiety, depression, this journal is super helpful for me just to get my mindset right every single day. And so, yeah, I think this is for everyone. And
it is. It's an
yeah,
all-rounder. It's got everything in it, from motivation to gratitude to medicine. So it's an all-rounder. One more question regarding the shot, Courtney. If so, you get it every month. So if you got it on the first of every month, let's say the first of every month, if you missed the appointment, then how does it work?
that's a really good question. There is a 7-day grace period for
Okay.
if you can't get to the doctor in time. And I would like to talk about that a little bit too, because a couple months ago, I was a few days after the 30-day period, and it was
Okay.
because of just trying to get there and schedule and all that. I didn't feel 100% like myself. I felt off. And so it was a good reminder for me to make sure that I remember how important this medication is for my mental health. And, I can do all these things, sleeping right and journaling, but I have to look at the first thing for me that I need is medication, and then therapy, and then all those things that make your mental health the way it needs to be. And so it was a good reminder for me to make sure that I continue to make my mental health a priority. Just because I haven't experienced anything in 4 years, I pray it doesn't happen again, but it could, because I have mental illness. And so I just have to be very cognizant of staying disciplined. And that's what this journal teaches, is discipline.
Teaches,
And
right.
discipline, and just
Keeps you on track. Right. So Courtney, you said that if you miss, you have those 7 days. I just want to know, let's say you had your appointment and you didn't go for some reason. I just want to know, for people and myself, the people, the healthcare providers, right? Do they call you and remind you've missed your injection, you need to come in? Do you get those calls also regularly, or is just you just taking the full? You have to be more accountable. Of course you need to, but I'm just asking, does it work both ways? Do they do their part as well, or how does
They
that work?
do. They do. My
Okay.
psychiatrist is really great, and she gets word from the pharmacy. I get my shot at a pharmacy.
Okay.
And and then the specialty pharmacy that I order the shot from, it's like a big long process every month. I have to make all these different calls for it. Totally worth it though. Totally worth it.
Okay.
But I set it up with the specialty pharmacy, and then they let my psychiatrist know, hey, she has made the appointment. She's ordered it, and then it has to go through my insurance. And then once insurance approves it, then we set up an appointment with the pharmacy. Then the pharmacy will call me. So yeah, it's a long process.
It's like a protocol that you have to go through.
Definitely.
Okay. Okay. All right. I want you to, anybody right now who's listening to you and struggling with any sort of mental health issues, what message would you want to give them?
I would say just know that you're not alone, and reach out to others, reach out to me, therapists, doctors. If you are struggling in any way, don't feel ashamed. Your story matters, your mental health matters, and you will get through the hard time. But reach out to people and just talk. Just know that people are there for you. I'm here for you. Send me a DM. Like I respond to DMs, and just know that you're not alone and you can get through it. And like I said, just don't be ashamed. I was ashamed for a long time. And the more I open up about it, the more support I get. And and it's really a good thing because you know, I was able to turn my setback into a setup, and you can too.
Wow, absolutely. One more question, Courtney, and we can wrap it up there. Uh, do you think that we are living in a time where mental health issues have gone really high? And if yes, if so, why do you think that?
I do think mental health has skyrocketed, mental health issues. I think a lot of it has to do with kids on social media.
Yeah.
I think it starts there. Comparison can lead to depression, leads to anxiety. Um, and yeah, I think there's just a lot of that going on.
Mm,
For me, as I explained, the start of it for me was spiritual. And I think there's
mm,
a lot of spiritual things going on too that, you know, we obviously can't see, but that has a lot to do
yeah.
with mental health. And
Mm.
so, yeah, I do. I think things have ramped up a lot more,
Yes, yes. I think
especially
with
talk.
social media, yeah. And with social media being the portal, everything is just being there for you, you know. You're becoming aware, but you're becoming aware in this wrong sense. And it's taking your sense of identity away. But like you said, one of the things was the comparison and the fake lives that you live on social media. Um, and definitely because I felt that yes, because of exposure in social media, you know a lot as well. Yes. And we live in times where people are more open and are coming forward as well. Yes. uh, I know for my grandma, and then it was at that time it was shamed. It was, you know, don't talk about it. Mental health was, even in my country, it's still such a big issue, Courtney. You if you have a teenager and he wants to come forward and say, hey, I'm going through depression or something, people just over here shut them off by saying, what do you know about depression or anxiety and stuff like that? Because the parents are not ready to accept that kids at such a young age could be going through that. But sadly, it's going on even at age 8, age 10. um, Anxiety is going on in schools at a very young level. So I think we need to accept that, and only in acceptance we can find solutions. If we keep on denying it, we keep on making it worse for ourselves and everybody around us. Um, Courtney, thank you so much for coming forward, sharing your story, not just sharing, inspiring us, giving us so much of hope through your story. It's amazing. I am so grateful that I caught you on Paxton's podcast and I was able to connect with you and bring you on. I hardly ever get the time, actually, but I was just one of those days. I said, okay, I'm going to go see who's Paxton live with, and it was you. And I loved your
That's
story,
awesome.
and I wanted you to come to my podcast and share it with my audience because I was truly inspired by your story. So thank you so much for inspiring me. I love the book. I can't wait to have it. Just another question. What about overseas? So I'm in Pakistan. Could I get it over here through shipping, or that's not an option right now?
I believe it's an option. Let me double check. It's
Okay.
going to be on Amazon in a few weeks. So Amazon for
Yeah.
sure, you'll be able to get
Amazon.
it, and I'll
Gotcha.
keep you
Gotcha.
updated with that. So yeah,
All right. All right.
thank
Thank
you
you
so much.
so much. Thank you so much for coming forward and sharing your story. Thank you so much, guys, for listening. I hope she inspired you. Guys, I will tag her after the podcast. So connect with her. If you have any questions, she said you could DM, and her website's on her page. You could go there and order the book. And in a few weeks, it will be on Amazon. I'm sending you so much love, Courtney. I will stay connected with you. Take good care of yourself, Courtney, and everyone. Bye bye, guys.
Thank you so much.
Bye.